Hey guys, how's it going? It is Schmeat back here with another video, and we got the ranking of every team's big three throughout history, I believe. So, it's probably gonna be, Kemba, maybe some L. Jefferson love. I'm curious to see if he'll do it off positions and how they would actually play together. Maybe like a Glenn Rice in there. Probably not Steven Jackson in our big three. I'm trying to think of other notable players. Larry Johnson, maybe. So there's a lot of people to choose from for Charlotte. But yeah, let's check it out.
We looked at the best all-time duos.
Let's check it out.
Well, now here's the all-time best trios, or big threes. And same rules apply as from the duos. Only basing things off of how good players were while playing for that team. And we're not just picking the top three players from each team. We're picking a trio based on the three that make the best big three and have the best fits together.
Makes sense,
sure, it
makes
may happen
sense.
to be the franchise's top three, but not always. So let's start off first with the Phoenix Suns. And their three goes to Steve Nash, Charles Barkley, and Devin Booker. Nash and Barkley were the obvious choices. And there were a few options for the third.
Devin Booker already in their big three.
Barkley in the front court.
That's
And
interesting.
I almost included Sean Marion for his defense, but I ended up going with Booker because while Nash and Barkley are the 1-2 punch on this
Booker
team,
already,
Devin Booker's
wow.
the second option that will always score when needed.
What
The
about
Denver
what
Nuggets
about
with Allen
Stoudemire?
Iverson,
He was
Alex
pretty
English,
good.
and Kobe
I don't know how
Jokic.
he'd
The
fit with
Nuggets
that team
originally
though,
were
but
English and Jokic, so we needed to add a point guard. Or
Jokic
some
is
defense.
probably
So that was the
Jokic
easy
is
choice
just
since can do
he
both.
can play
He
with
averaged
anybody, so
26 and 7
I
in
would think he's in their
140
big three already.
And that was as shooting guard, but he can play point guard just as good. And with all these guys, this big three would have a great blend of offense, defense, passing, and rebounding. Now for the
It's
Utah
true.
Jazz, we're inserting Donovan Mitchell. And
Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell already.
Stockton and Malone. And with another
No
video
Gordon
where
Hayward
we
love?
play
He made
option
the
at
All-Star
point
team.
numbers When John and Carl aren't doing
So
it.
did
This
Donovan
team
Mitchell
would
though,
most
so
likely have won a championship.
it's understandable.
For the LA Clippers, it goes to Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, and Blake Griffin. So imagine
That's crazy. That's crazy. I would yeah, I would put Blake over PG right now. Blake's been like what, he played like 8 years there. So I think you got to put him over Paul George.
It would have given these guys about as complete of a trio as you can get. Now with the Lakers, in my duo video I said it would have been hard to pick a duo when they had so many different players and combinations to choose from. But with the big three, it's a different story because we're having this one go to Magic Johnson, Kobe, and Kareem. And here's why. I could only pick one of Magic or LeBron. Since
I was
they
gonna,
have such
yeah,
similar
LeBron
games.
only played
So
2
we went
years there
Magic just
while going
based
on his
on the
third,
Lakers'
but
career. Because I don't know that
yeah,
I'd say
it
up
makes
until this
sense.
point LeBron has had a better year than Magic had as a Laker in its prime. Plus we
That's
already know that
true.
Johnson pairs well with Kareem, and then we needed a true scorer to play in between those two, so obviously that went to Bryant.
Some
Memphis
Kobe love?
Grizzlies took the spot for the worst all-time duo, so no surprise.
At least
that
we don't
I
have the
picked
worst
the
all-time
trio as well, with Mike Conley,
trio.
Marc Gasol, and Zach Randolph, which is a
What about? Nah, I'm not gonna say John Morant. I'm not even gonna say it.
Never made it to an NBA Finals, so definitely wouldn't be great in terms of an all-time team. The Timberwolves 3 though is so awkward. There's Karl
What do we got here?
Towns and Kevin Garnett in the front court.
Don't
and
put
those were
Andrew
easy
Wiggins.
choices, so then we needed a guard, and the best from the Wolves was
D'Lo.
Sam
Oh,
Cassell,
I thought he was
who
gonna put
PG
D'Lo
last
right there.
season, and was an all-star. that
Okay,
year,
we got an
which
ad.
was one of the reasons he slightly beats out a guy like
Sam
Steph
Cassell
Curry.
looks like
The
he's
Dallas
dead though
Mavericks,
in
their
that
big three goes
picture.
to Luka Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki, and Jason Kidd.
Luka
Luka
already
played
there for the
68
Dallas
games just on their
Mavericks.
own, and even though Doncic and
That's
Kidd play
crazy.
the same position, as you can probably
That's
tell by how this
crazy.
season's gone, Luka shouldn't have the ball in his hands at every single play like he has. He needs someone to defer to, and someone like Jason who's a true leader and a difference maker is the perfect fit. He doesn't need to score a ton and doesn't take opportunities away from anyone.
Jason
but
Kidd in their
helps
top
win.
3
Then the
though.
Warriors probably have the most dominant, most unstoppable big three of the video. With
Let me guess: Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Wilt Chamberlain.
Curry, Kevin Durant, and Wilt Chamberlain.
Kevin
I
Durant.
have no words. Steph and Katie were so dominant already. Just imagine on the Warriors.
Would I rather take Klay Thompson's entire career with Golden State below Kevin Durant's 2 or 3 years there? That's a tough one. Because KD didn't have his best years in Golden State.
Point per game, Wilt Chamberlain.
I don't know if I can do that.
Ever playing any games
Obviously, Steph's there and Wilt's
Then
there.
I didn't like the Trailblazers duo of Damian Lillard and Clyde Drexler, but making it a big three and adding Bill Walton makes a huge difference. And he's a guy I probably should have included in their duo instead. But
Makes
let's ignore
sense.
that. For them though, a good backcourt's always great, but it's not necessarily really championship worthy until you add a good big man. And Bill being a former rebounding leader, blocks leader, NBA champion, and MVP, all with Portland, definitely puts him in that role. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and Sean Kemp take Oklahoma City's spot, and you might have expected James Harden, but he was a sixth man while there.
I keep forgetting it. I keep forgetting it's just based on what they did in their teams. So that makes sense that James Harden isn't there. I was about to say James Harden. He just answered that question for me.
We went with Kemp instead, and who you'd pick really.
Charlotte still hasn't gone
though,
up.
This one's good. There's
Chris Paul? I was gonna say Chris Paul.
Anthony
Yeah.
Davis and DeMarcus Cousins.
Now,
we only saw
DeMarcus Cousins. Tyson Chandler had a few good years there with Chris Paul. David West had a few good years there. Eric Gordon was really good there, although you can't really do another small guard on the big three. But
Pelicans, but don't forget he
DeMarcus
averaged 25,
Cousins,
12, and 5 on some great shooting numbers while there. And
yeah, but he played 1.5 seasons.
But at the way things are going, don't be surprised if Zion takes the spot before too long. In San
Makes
Antonio,
sense.
we have Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and George Gervin.
Jesus.
We have the winningness of Tim, the dominance of Robinson.
How tall
and
is this
unlimited
George?
scoring
I've
from
never heard of
And
this guy
altogether,
before
many
my time
championships
by
with the
like
one.
decades.
And if we're talking all of them in their primes, you're getting 25 a game from Duncan, 30 from Robinson, and 33.
How
points
good
a
would
game from
Tim
George
Duncan be
Gervin.
in today's
Those numbers, of
NBA?
course, would be adjusted
Like
down.
he hasn't been like out of the league for too long, but just the years that he's been out of the league, the center position has changed so much. So would he be as effective in 2021 as he was in like 2014?
Because it's Oscar Robertson,
I don't know.
Webber, and again DeMarcus Cousins.
That's
and
crazy.
This is the triple-double Oscar Robertson. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of scoring, a lot of rebounding, and a pretty big team here. None of these guys
Boogie
ever
was
won
so good on the
championships, but
Kings.
together, they
Boogie was
most
so
likely
good on the
would've.
Kings,
And let's
man.
not forget just how good Cousins was before
Yeah.
his injury. The Houston Rockets. So obviously
Harden,
we start
yeah.
with James Harden and Hakeem, and the third spot goes to Moses Malone. We would say T-Mac, but he plays the same position
Moses
as Harden.
Malone.
We would consider Yao Ming.
Yeah,
but
Yao
he plays
Ming.
the same position as Hakeem, while Moses can play power forward.
I mean, I
where he averaged
guess.
31 and 15 for Houston while winning MVP that year.
Jesus.
Then Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and Ben Wallace are the Pistons' big three. And as I mentioned in my duos video, this is a team I'd really just want to see so I could watch Ben Wallace shove guys around on the Bad Boys Pistons
True.
team. With the Miami Heat, we have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. Who
Chris
would play
Bosh?
together, but then
Nah,
adding
Shaq?
Alonzo Mourning,
No.
Who would take Chris Bosh's
Alonzo
spot as their
Mourning?
big three.
Would Alonzo Mourning be for the Hornets as
And we were
well?
swapping out Bosh's shooting for Mourning's.
Because Alonzo Mourning
So I
also
think
had a
this
few
spot
good
this
years
duo would
in
take any day of the week.
Charlotte
We
too.
got to go way back for the Celtics all-time three for John Havlicek, Larry
But
Bird, and
I mean,
Bill Russell.
we're saving the best for last for our
Dominant
big three, I
players of
guess.
all time based on his era. So was Bill Russell, obviously, and as we know, Larry Bird was unstoppable on offense. So
Yeah.
overall, technically, this team should be unstoppable. The Atlanta Hawks.
A lot of
for
white
them, we
guys,
have to
though.
Give it to Dominique Wilkins, Bob Pettit, and Dikembe Mutombo. Again, a great blend of offense and defense.
I'm taking Trey Young over that Bob Pettit
And
dude.
that's
Come
another
on, man.
awkward one.
Come
we got the
on.
small power forward and center positions filled.
Come on,
and
man.
Nothing in the backcourt, but just because it's awkward doesn't.
You
mean
think
it
if
wouldn't
Bob
be
Pettit,
The
in his prime played Trey Young in his prime, who would win? That white guy or
Brooklyn
Trey
Nets
Young?
have another
Obviously
big
Trey
three,
Young.
Obviously with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden.
Whoa. Richard Jefferson had so many good years for the Nets. So did Jason Kidd. Wow. They're already putting all these three guys. Like, obviously, all these three guys are better than Richard Jefferson and Jason Kidd, but James Harden has only played, what, like 30 games there? Kyrie, he only played 20 games last year. He's played probably a total of 60. Kevin Durant has played 40.
It really is crazy what they've been doing. Sure, Kevin hasn't been playing, but all three of these guys are averaging 25 plus points.
Yeah, but
40+% from three, and Harden's averaging.
I don't know, man. I don't know about
The
that.
league in assists, and I would say we're witnessing the best offensive big three of all time. Then I like the Chicago Bulls squad because.
Can we get my Hornets yet? Are we the last team on
Michael
this?
Jordan and Scottie Pippen. It's not like MJ
Derrick
and Pippen
Rose?
needed help anyways, but adding a former MVP into the mix really wouldn't hurt. Now, if the Bucks duo of Giannis and Kareem couldn't possibly get any better,
That'd be
imagine
nasty.
needing to add Oscar Robertson to it, the guy that Kareem won his first championship with. On the Bucks, he wasn't averaging a triple-double, but he was still an elite 6'5" point guard. This team would be extremely athletic, extremely oversized, and
No Ray Allen
insane
on the
numbers.
Bucks.
Keep in mind, on the Bucks, Kareem was averaging 35 and 16.
That's crazy.
For the Charlotte Hornets, they don't have a great all-time trio, and it probably ranks just right above the Grizzlies, but it's not terrible. It's Kemba
Kemba?
Walker, Glenn Rice, and Larry Johnson.
Did I not say it, man? I spoke it into existence. Glenn Rice was pretty good with us. Larry Johnson was insane with us before his time if he didn't have the injuries. And obviously Kemba, which really made me a fan of the Hornets. I might make a video in the future about how I became a Hornets fan because it's kind of interesting because I'm not from Charlotte. I'm not even from North Carolina. I'm from Wisconsin. So it's pretty unconventional that I'm a Hornets fan, but maybe that's a video for another day.
Kemba and Larry make a good backcourt frontcourt duo, but adding Glenn, who had his best year averaging 27 a game in Charlotte, really takes them up a level. The New York Knicks one is controversial because I'm sure a lot of people are expecting
The thing is with that big three, Larry Johnson with Kemba, like Larry Johnson isn't just like you hear him being compared to like Zion, and I would say he's better than Zion, like from what Zion has already done in this league compared to what Larry Johnson did. Larry Johnson was what, like a 38% 3-point shooter in the fucking 90s. Could you imagine what he is in 2021? Like, oh, before his time, man. Before his time.
But he doesn't, because instead it's Walt Frazier, Bernard King, and Patrick Ewing.
But LaMelo might take that Kemba Walker spot. We never know.
But really didn't produce wins. Because Bernard King was the same way, except he put up 33 a game in his best year. So at his best, he was slightly better than Melo. So
wow.
we take him here instead.
It's a hot
and
take.
We gotta put Kyle Lowry, Vince Carter, and Kawhi Leonard.
I was gonna say 1 year of Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, I would say that. Led him to a championship.
I included Chris Bosh somehow to give them a big man, but I couldn't pass up adding any of these guys.
Yeah.
He's a good all-around guy that can score.
1 year of Kawhi Leonard leading them to a championship, being great in the playoffs for them, hitting that game winner over, like, what was it, 8 years of DeMar DeRozan? Oh, man.
20 plus every night. Vince Carter averaged 27 a game.
Maybe he'll reference it, but damn.
On 40% from 3, and we know how good Kawhi was there. So together they would dominate. In Indiana, these were all easy.
I think he's not given enough respect to DeMar DeRozan.
A lot of offense and defense here. We saw how close to the finals PG came with Roy Hibbert as his center and Lance Stevenson as
that team. That team was nasty. Like, oh man, I remember watching these games versus the Heat. I remember that one game where Roy Hibbert didn't put up a single stat in the playoffs, and he got roasted beyond belief for the next week.
How much better he'd be with Reggie and Jermaine instead. And these guys make up a pretty complete big three.
I think Reggie Miller's pretty overrated. Obviously, he could still. Oh my God, Beal is already there.
Beal play together, and they never had any major success.
That might be the worst big three here. I'm taking my big three over that. We already saw what Wall and Beal can do together, and it's not much. Like some first round wins in the playoffs is.
That I think Unseld in the front court would give them
who the fuck is this?
To go to the
Zion's dad?
Now in Orlando for the Magic, their big three was an easy choice because
T-Mac?
Magic have not.
I love T-Mac.
Too many all-time great players. So we're going with Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady, and Shaq. Now we can
that is nasty.
Have both Shaq and Dwight Howard on this team.
I was gonna say Dwight Howard was
they may have been down
very good.
Two Supermen that play the same position. And
that's true, and they can't space the floor.
Plus Shaq and Dwight got beef anyways. But Shaq and Penny made the finals as a team, so you gotta imagine
that is a nasty team.
Would have definitely made them a championship squad. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the other team where we saw their all-time big three play together, with Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love.
I gotta think here about good Cavs players. I mean, I can't think of anybody that's better than
really
Kevin Love.
Kevin on the Cavs. He really wasn't a great fit.
Trying to
He was
think.
always injured at the worst times, and I just never liked the kind of player he was on their big three.
I mean,
But
yeah, I
he
guess
was
it is
still
their
good.
big three.
And they won a
They won a
championship
chip,
together,
yeah.
so we can't complain too much. And finally, for the last one, we have one of the most dominant of the video with the 76ers, with Allen Iverson, Dr. J, and Wilt Chamberlain. You got the offense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
From
I was
everyone
gonna
who
try
was
and
from
think of
AI and
someone
Wilt, the winning mentality and veteran leadership from Dr. J,
that could
and
take
this team
a
would have been
AI
unbeatable.
spot.
Point guard, small
Ben
forward, and
Simmons in the
center
future.
combinations, in my opinion, are by far the best type of big three. And it's surprising how few of them we've ever actually seen in NBA history. And
Yeah.
that's gonna wrap things up. Shout out to everyone.
Well, that's the video. Peace.